Most people grow up learning a polished version of American history, a story of freedom, progress, and victory. But beneath that official narrative lies a darker truth, a history filled with hidden experiments, silenced voices, moral compromises, and decisions that cost innocent lives. These are not conspiracy theories. These are documented events that rarely make it into textbooks, not because they didn't happen, but because they challenge the image of the nation itself. Today, we uncover some of the darkest secrets in U.S. history, stories that are real, uncomfortable, and still echo into the present. Let us begin with one of the most disturbing chapters in American medical history, the Tuskegee syphilis experiment. From 1932 to 1972, the U.S. government knowingly allowed hundreds of African American men in Alabama to suffer from untreated syphilis. They were told they were receiving free health care, but in reality, doctors were secretly observing how the disease progressed when left untreated. Even after penicillin became a proven cure in the 1940s, treatment was deliberately withheld. Many men died, their wives were infected, and children were born with congenital syphilis, all in the name of research. This wasn't a rogue operation. It was funded and approved by the U.S. Public Health Service, and it continued for 40 years. Another secret remained buried for decades during the Cold War. Human radiation experiments. Between the 1940s and 1970s, the U.S. government conducted secret experiments on civilians, military personnel, hospital patients, and even children, exposing them to radioactive substances without their informed consent. In some cases, pregnant women were injected with radioactive iron. In others, soldiers were deliberately placed near nuclear test sites to study the effects of radiation on the human body. The justification was national security, but the human cost was devastating. Many victims never knew why they later developed cancer or severe health problems. The truth only came out years later, after classified documents were declassified. Then there is MK-Ultra, one of the most chilling intelligence programs ever run by the CIA. During the 1950s and 60s, the agency launched a secret program to explore mind control. Using LSD, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, and psychological torture, MK-Ultra experiments were carried out on unsuspecting civilians, prisoners, mental health patients, and even U.S. soldiers. Some participants were dosed with powerful drugs without their knowledge, sometimes in bars or safe houses. At least one person died, and many others suffered permanent psychological damage. Most records were deliberately destroyed in 1973, meaning the full extent of MK-Ultra may never be known. Not all dark secrets are hidden in labs, some are written in blood on the streets. The Tulsa Race Massacre of 1921 is one of the worst acts of racial violence in American history, yet it was erased from public memory for generations. In Tulsa, Oklahoma, a prosperous black community known as Black Wall Street was destroyed by white mobs. Homes, businesses, and churches were burned to the ground. Airplanes were even used to drop incendiary devices. An estimated 300 people were killed, and thousands were left homeless. For decades, survivors were silenced, insurance claims were denied, and the massacre was excluded from history books. It took nearly a century for the event to receive national recognition. Another uncomfortable truth lies in how the U.S. treated its own citizens during World War II. After the attack on Pearl Harbor, over 120,000 Japanese Americans, most of them U.S. citizens, were forcibly removed from their homes and placed in internment camps. They lost businesses, property, and livelihoods, not because of evidence, but because of fear and racism. No mass charges of espionage were ever proven. The government later admitted this was a grave injustice, but the damage was already done. The Vietnam War revealed another secret that shattered public trust: the My Lai Massacre. In 1968, U.S. Army soldiers killed hundreds of unarmed Vietnamese civilians, men, women, children, and infants. The massacre was initially covered up by military officials. It took over a year for the truth to reach the American public, and even then, accountability was minimal. Only one officer was convicted, and he served just a few years under house arrest. The incident exposed not just a war crime, but a system willing to hide it. Fast forward to the War on Terror, and another dark chapter emerges: enhanced interrogation techniques, better known to the world as torture. After 9/11, secret CIA black sites operated outside U.S. borders, where detainees were subjected to waterboarding, sleep deprivation, stress positions, and psychological abuse. These practices violated international law and contradicted America's stated values. For years, the program was denied or minimized, until Senate investigations confirmed its existence and revealed that it produced little reliable intelligence. Even democracy itself has not been immune to hidden manipulation. COINTELPRO, an FBI program active from the 1950s to the 1970s, secretly targeted civil rights leaders, anti-war activists, and political organizations. Using surveillance, harassment, misinformation, and infiltration, the FBI worked to disrupt and discredit movements it considered threatening. Martin Luther King Jr. was monitored extensively, and the agency even attempted to blackmail him into silence. These actions were later deemed illegal, but only after immense damage had been done. So why don't we talk about these stories more often? Because they complicate the narrative. They remind us that power, when left unchecked, can cause immense harm even in a nation founded on liberty. But confronting these truths is not about hating America, it's about understanding it. History is not weakened by honesty, it is strengthened by it. The darkest secrets in U.S. history are not meant to erase the country's achievements, but to remind us of a critical lesson. Progress is not automatic, and justice is never guaranteed. It must be demanded, protected, and remembered. Because when history is forgotten or deliberately hidden, it doesn't disappear, it repeats. And the real question is not whether these events happened. The real question is, what will we choose to do with this knowledge now?